What's up, everybody? It's Rochelle, aka Brown Bruja, and we're here today to talk about the basics of reading tarot. These are like the very, very, very basics that I could fit into a 10-minute video. I have my notes here, so I'll be glancing over to my notes from time to time. So I've been getting a lot of questions about how to work with tarot, tips for beginners, what deck to buy, things like that. And I mean, I could go on and on and on about tarot because that is my primary way of channeling. So if you haven't watched my previous videos, I started reading tarot regularly in 2015 when I was in law school with my friend Jamie. We would, Celtic cross all day, every day, or Celtic cross, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And we would mix up the cards, cut them, and we would read each other's spreads using a book. And that's how I read tarot for a very long time, because that's how I learned from Jamie. But my tarot practice, or like me, sorry, my coffee machine started beeping. My tarot practice really became enriched, or I guess the depth and detail of messages that I was able to receive really became enriched once I stopped using the book. And I was basically kind of forced to stop using the book because I lost it or I couldn't find it. And I think my guides had hidden the book from me because at that point I had been receiving the message that I need to let go of the book. Like, how are you going to become a professional tarot reader if you keep having to consult a website or a book, or you're like trying to remember what the memorized meaning of a certain card is. And now ever since I allowed myself to let go of the book security blanket and allow myself to really trust myself and trust what was coming through for me, that's real channeling. That is real psychic work. It's not, memorizing meanings and like what a card means if it's in this position versus if it's reversed or whatever, that can usually, I guess, like maybe like 85% of the time you'll get something, but following your intuition is the key to becoming a legit tarot reader. And that's because, like I always say, if you're able to read cards and deliver people messages, and everybody has this ability, it just, some people are born with a stronger ability or work harder on it, so they become better readers. What was I saying? God, my memory sucks in quarantine. Okay, so tarot cards are just a tool. It's not, there's nothing special about the cards that's different from other divinatory tools, except for, I guess, depending on which tarot deck you choose to work with, the depth of the imagery and detail, different symbolisms in the cards. So if you think about it, when if I'm channeling without cards, if my guides are talking to me or something like that, they will, because of the energy that it takes to send a message to somebody, a lot of times it only comes in short words or phrases, or a picture in your mind's eye of something, and then you have to interpret based on your own symbol knowledge what that means for you, what they're trying to say. Whereas, you know, if you have a tarot card like this, it can mean a lot of different things, because we have words here, there's different colors, there's a man, old man or a old bearded person with a staff and a lantern wearing something. There's a number 9. So the way that modern tarot cards are designed, they can have a lot of different imagery, which means that like one card can say a lot of different things, and that's why these decks are useful. That's why tarot is such a popular tool for people to connect with spirit. Yeah, so I guess I'll get, oh my gosh, we're already at 6 minutes. Okay, so when you're picking a card deck, it depends on, well, first of all, you want to think about, is it important to you that the deck that you has a lot of like published resources? Do you want the imagery to resonate with you? Do you and you have to like it to a certain extent. So when I started, the first ever tarot deck that I had was this like mini one like this. Let me go get it. Okay, so this is my first ever tarot deck that I got from Dave & Buster's. You can still see like the ticket value redemption sticker on the bottom. It was 2,500 tickets. My ex-boyfriend obtained the tickets for me, and it came, these are the cards here. It's like very what you'd expect from Dave & Buster's. And then it came with a little like guidebook and like this thing. I think this is like missing a piece actually. I don't use this, but it's like a little thing that you put together, and it like lays out the spread for you. This got damaged when my roof leaked, but that's okay. I just keep it for the memories. I don't use this. But anyway, put that on the side. When you're thinking about, so that this deck that is published or put out by Julia Sharman Burke, it's based on the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I was gonna say Rider-Waite-Smith Coleman, but that's not correct. Which is this deck right here. Look like this. These cards. So this is probably the most popular right now, at least for the people who are going to be seeing this video. I'm not sure what goes on in other countries. But yeah, so starting with the Rider-Waite-Smith is really useful, because a lot of other decks, like indie decks or even like major published decks, are based off of the Rider-Waite-Smith. Another deck that people might be familiar with is the Thoth deck, which is also, well, it was published by Aleister Crowley and is based off of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but it came about a little bit later. So these two people are the folks that put these decks out, Arthur Edward Waite, or A.E. Waite, and Aleister Crowley, who are the, I guess, like the people who designed the decks, not the illustrators. The illustrators were both actually women in both of these cases. Pamela Coleman Smith illustrated the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and I think her name is Lady Frida Harris. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Illustrated the Thoth deck, which is similar to the Rider-Waite-Smith, but it's a little bit different. But I don't really want to get into those differences, because that's not, a beginner does not have to be concerned with it. Just all you need to be concerned about is, do you like this or do you like this? You know? So yeah, I mean, I would just there's also like other tarot card designs, like the Tarot de Marseille. That's my French accent. Sorry to French people and French speakers. There's also other card systems like the Lenormand versus tarot. You can even do divination using regular playing cards. Like the first psychic I ever saw, she used playing cards. So I mean, and then there's also oracle decks. Like I'm sure y'all have seen Doreen Virtue. She like makes all these, or sure she used to put out all those like kinds of decks. So there's like a lot of different ones, but I think a beginner in tarot would be best served by starting off with a deck that has the most, I guess, like material available, so that you can like if you really I mean, just so that if you want to rely on the symbolism that like the established symbolism of certain cards, you can refer to that if you want to. But like I said, your the depth, the detail, like the real like intuitive work that you do with reading through tarot cards, it's all going to come from here and here and here. So yeah, I guess so. Let's see what else. Okay, so there's gonna be, I mean, for at least for me, I'll just speak to my own way of learning. There's, like I said, there's external and there's internal sources of symbolism. So for me, when I, all those years with Jamie, when we were like reading each other's cards, we would always read the book and then we'd go by whatever instead the upright meaning is and whatever the reverse meaning is. Now, we only consulted one book. We didn't start going online to look at, like, for example, like Biddy Tarot, she has a really good website, until later on. So we only looked at one source, one viewpoint of what a tarot card's meaning was, right? And that can be influenced by the author, but that can be influenced by their point of view, their attitudes, their own study, whether academic or not, or whatever, of tarot. What I'm trying to say is whenever you're like looking at a reference for what a particular card means. So for example, let's say you have the Ace of Cups, right? And so everybody says like, okay, Ace of Cups, it's the number 1 is represented in the ace, right? So it could be talking about a new beginning in terms of emotions or something like that, right? That is like a very common generalized meaning of the card Ace of Cups. But you could look at this card. There's different messages in here too. There's a bird holding like a little wafer. Looks like a communion wafer to me because I grew up Catholic, but that could be, or like, the things that the body of Christ that you eat in church, but that's because I grew up Catholic. I also see lily pads. I see a disembodied hand coming out of a cloud. So, like, to me, this could mean that somebody is giving you, like, stretching out a hand to you to help you, or somebody wants to, like, it could be that your guides are going to send you a message through a bird, or or it could be a negative meaning, like your cup is overflowing, you have too much to deal with, and you have too much on your plate, or too much in your cup, or whatever. So, like, I'm just making it up right now, but literally, based on the context, it could mean anything. Okay, so I just watched back the 20 minutes of video that I have, and after where I just cut off the video, it really went off the rails. So I think what I want to do instead is like answer your questions about tarot rather than me just rambling on and on and on, because honestly, I could talk about tarot all day, every day. Like, I am still learning stuff every day through my research, through my own studies, through different messages that come through different parts of the card that I notice that I never seen before, and that's just working with this deck. I mean, I work with other decks as well, but I just keep coming back to this one because it has a lot of different imagery, and I know that it's like a very problematic deck. No representation of people of color. It's very white, hetero, patriarchal, based on religions and different systems that also operate within those same institutions. So yeah, I don't see, I'm doing it again. I just can't stay on topic. But anyway, yeah, just comment on this video, please, or email me or DM me what questions that you have as a tarot reader, as a person who's interested in tarot on whatever. Yeah, I think that'll be a better way to do this, and I'll be happy to answer your questions to the best of my ability. I haven't been reading tarot as long as other folks on here have, obviously. I'm like not even 30 years old, so I'll try my best and we can like figure it out together. Yeah, I hope you all have a good weekend and stay safe.